Hey, it's Minimalist Gourmet, and today we're making edible chocolate chip cookie dough with less than 10 ingredients. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. Okay, even though we're not baking the cookies, we do need to heat treat our flour to make sure that it's safe to eat. It is considered a raw product and can contain things like salmonella and E. coli, so we're going to heat treat it for 2 minutes in the microwave to make sure that doesn't happen. You're going to stick it in for 30-second increments, pull it out and stir it very well, making sure to distribute that heat evenly. You're looking for a final target temperature of 160 degrees, and do be careful when stirring this, it can get very hot. If you don't have a microwave or just don't want to use it for this, that's not a problem. You can also do this in the oven. Preheat it to 350 degrees and spread your flour evenly in a thin layer on a baking sheet, and then put it in for about 7 or 10 minutes. You're going to want to stir it about halfway through. Using either method, after heat treatment, you need to let it sit so it can come completely down to room temperature before moving on with the rest of the recipe. That's why I like to do it first. I've cubed up the butter here and it's at room temperature fully, but we need it to be kind of semi-melted. So I'm going to pop this in the microwave for about 15, maybe 20 seconds tops until it looks like this. It'll mix a lot easier with the sugar this way, but still be solid enough to capture air and make it nice, light, and fluffy. Normally, you use equal parts white and brown sugar, but for this recipe, we've increased the ratio of brown sugar quite a bit to make a nice, rich flavor. I always have to sift my brown sugar here in Thailand because even though this was a new bag, 1¼ cups of brown sugar had this many lumps in it. That's crazy. And only a scant 1/4 cup white sugar goes in. Now we cream the butter and sugar together. I'll be using my trusty electric beaters, but you can certainly do this by hand with a whisk. It's just going to take a little bit longer. As always, recipes in the description below, so definitely go down and check that out. And if you're enjoying what you're watching so far, don't forget to give this a thumbs up and consider subscribing. It really helps my small channel grow, and I appreciate it a whole bunch. Make sure to scrape down the sides and the bottom of the bowl about halfway through and then finish it off here. It should be nice, light, and creamy just like this. To make sure all these flavors pop, we're going to toss in just a little bit of salt along with the obligatory vanilla extract. To replace some of the moisture that we're not getting because we're not putting any eggs in here, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of whole milk as well. I'm going to use my electric beaters again to whip this up until it's nice, light, airy, and fluffy, just like this. In fact, it looks a little bit more like cake frosting than it does cookies at this point. Excellent. We need to put in our heat-treated flour, but first we want to make sure it's completely cooled down to room temperature, and this stuff is great. There's no heat in it at all, so we're going to go ahead and put this in and mix it very well. You know, you can lick the beaters after you're done mixing this, and it won't be whiskey if you do. Stop about halfway through your mixing and scrape down the sides and the bottom of the bowl to make sure that everything is thoroughly mixed. Last but certainly not least, we're going to mix in our chocolate. You can use your favorite kind, whether that's white, milk, or dark chocolate. You can also use things like Reese's Pieces, M&Ms, or you can do a combination and do half chocolate and half nuts. Totally up to you. I like to switch over to a large wooden spoon to mix in my chocolate. I think it's a little bit easier and it doesn't break up all your chocolate pieces using electric beaters. Man, these are going to be so good, but make sure you don't eat too much. You don't want to overdose. If you store this in a container with a tight-fitting lid, it'll keep in the fridge for about 5 to 7 days. That is if you don't eat it all before then. Once your chips are totally mixed in like this, you are ready to enjoy. All right, let's go ahead and give this a try. I can't wait. The texture is amazing. It's light, fluffy, airy. It's almost like eating a cloud, and that is fantastic. More so than that, the flavor is out of this world. With that high ratio of brown sugar, it has so much more flavor than a standard cookie. And because we didn't bake it, it's not even muted at all. It is so prevalent, and you get that nice hit of sweet right there. I gotta say, this is amazing. This is something you definitely want to try. Considering how easy this was to make, it shouldn't taste this good. You know, if you're interested in some other no-bake desserts, definitely check out my recipe right here for my no-bake cheesecake shooters. That's another great recipe that you can make in just a few minutes, no baking required. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see y'all again here next week on the next episode of Minimalist Gourmet. And now I've got a whole bowl of cookie dough here I need to go and eat, so I'll see you here soon.